last thing you've written in your notebook?
Yes, ma'am. Just a minute. Let me check. We wrote till function of blood.
Functions of blood.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tejas, you also cross-check?
Yes, ma'am.
And yes, everyone switch on your videos. Why only one student switched on his video? Tejas, Safia, switch on your videos. And Astitva, have you written all of these components of the blood? RBC, WBC and all?
Yes, ma'am. We wrote.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have completed the first connective tissue, which was the fluid connective tissue, and that was blood. Now moving forward, we'll move on to the bone. Now we know that bone is yet another kind of connective tissue. Now, the skeleton that we
Ma'am,
have,
bone also done. Ma'am, bone also done.
bone is done.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
muscular
Bone is also
tissues
done.
were also done.
No, ma'am. We didn't do
No,
muscular
ma'am,
tissues
it
yet.
is left.
We haven't done this?
No,
No.
ma'am. We have to start from muscular tissues.
Okay, okay. All right. So when we talk about the muscular tissues, so these are responsible for the movement in our body, and they are present in our muscle fibers, right? We have the muscles that are attached to the bones, and these muscular tissues are the ones that makes the muscle that we have. So it contains elongated cells that are called as muscle fibers. Now, the muscular tissues, they are responsible for the movement in our body. Like if we just have the, you can say, just the bones in our body, then that is also not going to produce any kind of motion. For motion to happen, we need the the bones along with the muscles so as to perform the any kind of movement, any kind of motion. Now, muscles, they have a very unique property that they have this ability to contract and relax. Okay. Now, they have elasticity. Now, I'll take one thing as an example. For example, you have something kept on the top shelf. Okay. So what do you do to reach it? You like stretch yourself, you pull you pull out your arms to reach that thing, isn't it? But
Yes,
once
ma'am.
you have
Yes, ma'am.
grabbed the thing, you come back to the normal state. That is because your muscles, they have elasticity property. Now if it did not have any elasticity property, then you would have stretched yourself to pick that thing up and stayed that way forever if your muscles wouldn't have been elastic. So always remember that the muscles, they can contract as well as they can relax, and this property is called as elasticity. Now, this property of elasticity, it is present in them because of the contractile protein, that is actin and myosin. Actin and myosin are the two contractile proteins that are present in the muscle. And contractile, you people understand the meaning of contractile?
No, what is
No, ma'am.
contractile?
See, contractile is that kind of a property wherein the anything, not just thing, like for example, we're talking about contractile protein. So this protein can cause contraction. You people understand contraction?
Yes, ma'am.
Contraction and relaxation, you understand? So all of those organisms that you can say are like you can say that have the property to contract and relax. So that is because they have some contractile proteins in them. Now the muscles, they are further of three types. There are three types of muscles that we have. The first kind of muscles that we have is the skeletal muscle. Then comes the smooth muscles. And lastly, there is the cardiac muscles. Now these muscles, they are according to the function that they perform, they're according to the you can say position that they are in. So accordingly you have different kinds of muscles in the body. The first one is the skeletal muscle. Now for example, students, right now if I ask you people to raise your hand like this, will you be able to do so?
Yes, ma'am.
Show
Yes,
me.
ma'am.
Show me how will you do so? Okay. And if I ask you to do like this, will you be able to do so?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If I ask you to stand up and sit down, you will also be able to do that, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. So, do you need any kind of permission to do these motions?
No, ma'am.
No. When you think about them, you can do them. So, those kind of actions that we can do on our own will, we can do whenever we want to. So, those kind of actions, they are called as voluntary actions.
Ma'am,
Now, if I ask,
cardiac muscle is involuntary muscle, right?
yeah, when we talk about, for example, right now, if I ask you people that, okay, now you people have to stop breathing, or you people have to, okay, if I'll say that, students, you have to stop your heart from beating, will you be able to do so?
No, ma'am.
No. And what if I take a very sharp object and I bring it very close to your eyes and I'm like, do not blink, will you be able to do so?
No, ma'am. Really.
You won't, you will blink.
No.
All of those activities that you cannot do on your own will, that you basically need your body to function for it, you don't have to think about it. So those kind of activities are known as involuntary activities. Now the first one, that is the skeletal muscle, these are attached to the bones and they are the voluntary muscles. Now, it is like the other name for the skeletal muscle is striated muscle. Why? Because it has striations or light and dark bands are present on it. So, this is the skeletal muscles. Now, after that, the cells of the skeletal muscle, they are cylindrical. Means cylinder-like cell is there. They are unbranched, meaning no branching is present, and they are multinucleated, meaning they have multiple nucleus in the cells. Now they are under our control, meaning when we can control it when we want to. So we call it as the voluntary muscles, meaning they are under your own will. You can control them just the way you want to. So those kind of muscles are called as voluntary muscles. The best example that you can take over here are the muscles of the limbs. Either it is the forelimb or the hind limb, the muscles of the limb, they are called as the voluntary muscles. So this was skeletal muscles. Then comes the smooth muscles. Now smooth muscles, they are involuntary muscles, meaning they are not under your control. You cannot control it on your own. And they are unstriated, meaning striations are not present in them. There is no stripes. In the skeletal muscles, stripes or striations are present, but in the smooth muscles, they are not. In terms of their shape, just like how skeletal muscle was cylindrical, the smooth muscles are fusiform, meaning they fuse at the end, just like how I've drawn here in this diagram. And they are spindle shaped, fusiform, and they are uninucleated, meaning they just have one nucleus present. Now, where are all of these muscles present in our body? So they are present in the iris of the eye, they are present in the uterus of the females, in the bronchi of the lungs. So these are the places, meaning those places that are not under your control at all. So in those places, these muscles will be present. Lastly, there comes the cardiac muscles. The name only suggests where it will be, right? It will be in the heart. So these are the muscles of the heart, and obviously there is no one who can stop his or her heartbeat. So, they are 100% involuntary muscles. They are also cylindrical, meaning they are cylinder-like, but they are branched cells. They are branched and they are multinucleated. Remember, skeletal muscles were not branched. right? They were not branched, and
Yes,
they
ma'am.
were multinucleated, right? But here they are branched and multinucleated, and the example is heart. So any doubts up until now, students?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
All right. Okay, now you people can note it down.
Okay. I am done, ma'am.
All of you are done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am, just a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, done.
I am done.
No, ma'am, wait a minute.
I'm done, ma'am.
No, ma'am, 1 minute. Yes, ma'am, done.
I'm done, ma'am.
Yes, done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so with this, we have completed the skeletal, sorry, the muscles. Now we'll move on to the next and the last type of tissues that are there in our body, which is the nervous tissue. Once we are done with this, the chapter will be completed. Now see this. Nervous tissue. Now
Ma'am, I
nervous
have a
tissue.
doubt.
Yes.
In my book, there are only two chapters. Fundamental unit of life and tissue.
There must be one more. Our
Ma'am,
environment.
let me check it out just 1
No,
second.
no, no, wait. Yeah, no, not our environment. There will be improvement in food resources. One more chapter will be there.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Improvements in food resources.
That chapter is there. So all in all, in class 9th, you have 3 chapters. Okay.
Yes,
Yes. In your school, how many chapters have been completed?
ma'am, two chapters.
2 chapters. They're going to start the third chapter when?
After half year.
After half yearly. Okay. All right. So when we talk about the nervous tissue, now the nervous system in our body, such as the brain, the spinal cords, and all the nerves that are associated with it, they are made up of the nervous tissue. They are composed of the nervous tissue. Now, if you talk about one unit of this nervous tissue, it is the neuron. If you say neuron or if you say nerve cell, it is the same. So one unit of the nervous tissue is the neuron or the nerve cell. Now, neurons are the functional unit of the nervous tissue. It is the functional unit, meaning if the neuron will not be there, then the nervous tissue or the nervous, you can say, uh, tissue will not be present. It is the fundamental and the most basic unit, that is the neuron. Now, we know that, for example, if you people see something, you instantly think what it is. You look at it and you're like, okay, I know what that is. So basically, the thing that I wanted to tell you is that our conduction, meaning the way the impulses travel in our body, it is so quick that within the fractions of seconds, we are able to understand what is going on in our surrounding. We're able to understand how things happen. Why does that happen? Because our nervous tissue, it is spread all throughout our body, and it is highly specialized tissue. It is extremely specialized, meaning as soon as it gets the stimulus, it acts on it very quickly. So that is why we say that the cells of the nervous tissue, they are highly specialized for being stimulated and then transmitting the stimulus very rapidly from one place to another. Meaning it is so quick that it happens in the fractions of seconds. Now, talking about the neuron, so this is how the structure of a neuron looks like. The neuron has certain parts. These branch-like structures that you're seeing, these are known as the dendrites. These are called as the dendrites. Now, so the dendrites are there. Now the dendrites, they are responsible for collecting all the information and bringing it to the cyton. Cyton is the middle cell portion. The cyton can also be called as the cell body. And this cell body has a nucleus present in it, and it has a very dense cytoplasm. I'll mark it here that it has a dense cytoplasm present. Now, from the cell body arises the very long portion which is called as the axon. And at the end of the axon, there is the presence of the bulb-like structure which we called as the nerve endings. So this is the basic structure of a, you can say, neuron. And many a times it can also be asked in the exams as to draw the structure of a neuron. So you should know, you should have a practice of it. Now, the parts of a neuron, there are three parts of the neuron. There is cell body, which is also called as the cyton, which contains a very prominent, a proper nucleus. Along with that, it also contains a dense cytoplasm. Then comes the axon, which is the single long part that arises from the cyton. And lastly, the third one is the dendrites, which is the branched parts that arise from the cell body. So all of these are the parts of a neuron. Now, when we talk about the length of the nerve cell or a neuron, it is 1 meter. One nerve cell is 1 meter in length. Now, many nerve fibers, they bound together by connective tissue and they make up the nerves. You people have heard about nerves. So those nerves, how are they made? Several nerve fibers, they come along and they form a bundle or a bunch, and they get connected together by a connective tissue and they make up the nerve. Now the signal, like for example, if you're looking at something, if someone patted on you, if I'm calling out your name, you people understand what I'm saying, because a nerve impulse is generated, meaning a signal is generated that goes to your brain, the brain processes it and quickly tells you what is happening. So that signal that is sent is known as a nerve impulse. Is it clear?
This one.
Yes. Okay. Now you people can note down till here, then we'll move forward.
Ma'am, can you show the diagram?
All of you are done, students?
No,
Yes,
ma'am,
ma'am.
just 2 minutes. Yes,
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am, two
okay.
ma'am.
minutes.
Take your time.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes, Tejas, tell me.
Ma'am, what is the main function of connective tissue?
Main function of connective tissue.
Yes, ma'am.
It connects. Like different, there are different connective tissues, right? The name only tells
Yes,
us that
ma'am.
it is responsible for some sort of connection. When it is the fluid connective tissue, it is responsible for the transportation of gases, transportation of food substances. When it is the bone, then it connects with the muscles and help us to locomote. When it is the adipose tissue, it provides us insulation, all of these. So like depending upon which type of connective tissue you're talking about, the function would vary. Okay.
Ma'am, this question.
See, as far as these questions that you said, these will go. The first option, that is main function of adipose tissues to store fat and conserve heat, that is
Yes,
correct.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
B, main function of the adipose tissue is to join, no, that is not correct. Skeletal tissues are responsible for the flexibility of the body parts. No, flexibility is provided by the cartilage, the tendons and all, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So out of all of them, only the option A is correct, isn't it?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes. Done, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Astitva, are you done?
Yes, ma'am, now completed.
Okay. All right, now you people can draw this one. See, students, while you're drawing it, draw it very nicely, okay? Don't just draw it like that because this can be asked in the exam. So pay attention to the labelings, the structure, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, mm, longest cell in human body is nerve cell, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
No, ma'am. 1 minute.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Okay, students. So, any doubts up until now?
Oh,
No, ma'am.
All right. Okay, then we'll keep it till here only for today's class, and we'll
okay, ma'am.
continue from the next.